This is everything you need to know about making the move to Thailand in 2025. Make sure to stick until the end of this video to avoid common mistakes and to be fully prepared for your move. So this goes without saying, but the most important thing to do is to actually visit Thailand. A lot of people are super certain on moving to Thailand because they watch videos like mine or other videos on social media, and they're convinced that Thailand is going to be their home and it's going to be their dream come true. I don't want to burst your bubble, but you should definitely visit here and stay for a month, stay for a couple months, and actually even better, visit the other countries in Southeast Asia to see if you perhaps like Vietnam better or the Philippines better, because a lot of people just assume that Thailand is the best country for them. While you're here in Thailand, I would explore all the different regions and explore the different neighborhoods. For example, an itinerary in Bangkok might potentially be staying at an Airbnb for a couple weeks at this particular neighborhood, staying at a couple hotels in this different neighborhood, visiting Pattaya for the weekend, making a trip to Khao Yai, or visiting Phuket. I would go crazy and visit all these different places. And a pro tip would be to actually try to live a somewhat normal life here. You know, a lot of people come here for the first time and they're living this spectacular holiday vacation mode, and then they compare that lifestyle with their lifestyle back at home. That's not an accurate representation of what your life would actually look like here in Thailand. For example, the way I live my lifestyle in America versus how I live my lifestyle here in Bangkok, they're actually quite similar. The differences, of course, are maybe I have better weekends out, or maybe I can travel a bit more often, but my day-to-day routine is just work, going to cafes, eating out, hanging out with friends. Like, it's more or less kind of the same routine. And another philosophical thing you should ponder is that wherever you go, there you are. Now, if you have problems back at home, if you have mental health issues, if you have depression, if you have kind of these anxieties about work or about life or about relationships, a lot of those things can still travel with you. Just because you're in a new environment doesn't mean that all of your problems all of a sudden go away. Now, this is going to be a topic for a different video, but don't think that Thailand can solve all of your problems. It can solve a lot of problems, but maybe the deep fundamental life problems that are very hard to fix, it might not fix those things. Now, if you're fully set on moving to Thailand, here's what you need to know about the budget. Now, here's the truth. Thailand can be as cheap or as expensive as you want. And I've said this a lot in my previous videos, but Thailand is actually not that cheap, especially in comparison to like Vietnam, for example. Whenever I go to Vietnam, it feels cheap, but here in Thailand, it feels quite considerably expensive. Cost of living definitely depends on your lifestyle. I would say a kind of a smaller range would be somewhere around $1,300 to $2,000. That's a pretty comfortable budget, anywhere between that range. For this budget, you can rent a nice condo with a nice gym, pool, and be located right in the city. You can use daily transportation like Grabs and the train and pretty much eat out every single day. And you can also have a pretty active social life. But just be aware that these fancy condos that you see all over social media, the rent prices are definitely rising. I would actually consider renting an older apartment such as the one I have here. This is a 200 square meter condo in Thonglor. I only pay around 50,000 baht a month, whereas another condo like a couple minutes away from me is a brand new luxury high-rise. It's a quarter of the size and it's still the same price. So I would definitely consider an older apartment if you're looking for more space and if you're looking to save a bit on your budget. So now that you can expect to spend around $1,300 to $2,000 a month, let's talk about savings and remote income. Now, I would highly recommend having at least like $5,000 in savings if you're planning to actually legitimately base yourself here. Now, don't be prepared to spend $5,000 as in terms of cost of living expenses, but just as a kind of emergency funds, you know, because realistically, you're gonna spend more than you think you will in your new life here in Thailand. For example, if you sign a year contract, you'll have to pay a 2-month security deposit. If you get a visa, that might be a couple $1,000s. If you have health insurance plans, if you have unexpected hospital visits or anything like that, these costs can definitely rise. And speaking of money, it's definitely a good idea to have some remote income or at least plans to make money here in Thailand. The best way to set yourself up is to have a remote work job or to actually have a business online that you can work from anywhere, or to actually perhaps get a job here in Thailand. But just be aware that if you work here in Thailand, the salary, of course, is not going to be as much, especially if you're coming from the West. Now, if you're actually looking for a remote work job, then you can personally contact me down in the description below. I've helped over 150 people land their dream remote work job that allows them to relocate, travel whenever they want, and pretty much work online remotely. So if you're seriously interested in that, then check out the link in the description. Another thing about money is that I don't really recommend just winging it. You know, a lot of people come here, they have maybe a couple thousand in savings, and then they just burn it off in a couple months, and then the worst case scenario is they have to return back home. Now, I have heard of people making it work. You know, they pretty much burn their bridges and try to build a business here from scratch or try to make this new income from scratch. But it kind of depends on your personality type. I think it's a good idea to have some money, to have some savings, to have active income before you make the move. Now, right quick, if you travel a lot, this is hands down going to be the best eSIM card that keeps you connected instantly as soon as you land. You won't have to search for Wi-Fi or wait in the long queues at the airport. With Olafly eSIM, you get unlimited high-speed 5G data in over 200 destinations, and it also includes hotspot capabilities, so you can share your data with your friends and family. Plus, you can customize your plan so you only pay for what you need, and if you ever need assistance, Olafly's customer support is available 24/7 in multiple languages as well. Olafly gives you the flexibility of regional plans like for Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, and more. Plus a global plan that covers 113 destinations. So for example, if you're planning a trip to several countries across Europe, you can stay connected across all your destinations without any hassle. The best part is that there are no high data roaming charges, physical SIM card swaps, connection interruptions, or hidden fees. You just download the Olafly app, pick your plan, and activate it before your flight, and the second you arrive, you're immediately connected. So if you travel often, grab a Olafly eSIM card today and stay connected hassle-free. Make sure to use my code PAULLEE at checkout for a special discount. You can check the link in the description and get started today. Next is the visas. Now, visas are very intimidating, but they're actually not as complicated as you might think. For most nationalities, you can visit Thailand up to 30 days. It used to be 60-day visa exemptions, but they actually cut it down to 30 days. So you can visit Thailand up to 30 days, and then you can actually extend it for another 30 days for around $55. And then after your first 60 days here without a visa, you can actually leave Thailand and do what is known as a border run. So visit a nearby country and then come right back to Thailand and pretty much repeat the process again. So in theory, that is 120 days for around $110 that you can stay in Thailand without a visa. Theoretically, you can do this a few times, but realistically, you're probably gonna be given a hard time at the airports, at the immigration office. They're gonna be asking you why you're here so often, so it's best to plan for a medium to a long-term visa. Here is a quick overview of the medium to long-term visas. Now, the first one is definitely the one that I recommend the most. It's the DTV, the Destination Thailand Visa. This is aimed towards people that are digital nomads, remote workers, and people that want to pursue Thailand's soft power areas like Muay Thai. It allows you to stay in Thailand for up to 5 years, and each stay you can stay for 180 days, and then you have to leave Thailand and then you can come back. So you can stay 180 days, then you have to leave, then you can come back, stay for another 180 days, then leave, then come back, and pretty much repeat this process for a max of 5 years. Now, this visa only costs around $300, which is actually insane, especially compared to the other existing 5-year visa, which is the Thailand Privilege Visa, also known as the Elite Visa. This visa allows you to stay in Thailand for 5 years, as well as have a lot of other benefits, but this Thailand Privilege Visa costs like $25,000. So the DTV is a no-brainer. It's definitely one of the best visas, but the major drawback for this DTV visa is that you have to have around 14 to 15,000 US dollars in your bank account to show proof of income, to show proof of funds that you can actually afford to stay here in Thailand. You don't actually need to spend $15,000, you just have to have that amount in your bank accounts. Another good visa is the Education Visa. The Education Visa allows you to enroll in Thai classes or Muay Thai classes and stay from anywhere between 6 to 12 months, and you can also renew this. If you're going to be pursuing this Education Visa, just make sure you work with a legitimate school or Muay Thai program, because there are a lot of scams out there, and a lot of the immigration officers are aware that people enroll in these Thai language courses but never actually attend Thai classes. They can't speak a word of Thai, and it looks really awkward when they go to the airport and the Thai immigration officer is testing their Thai skills, yet they can't speak any language. So you don't want to be in that situation. If you're going to pursue this Thai education visa, I would take it extremely seriously. Then we have the business visa or the work permit. This is where you can start your own business here and employ yourself and give yourself a work permit, or work for another Thai company and have them sponsor you and your visa. Now, the last medium to long-term visa is going to be the retirement visa, which is hands down going to be the best one if you're over 50 years old. So that's just a quick overview of the visas. Now let's discuss health insurance. While healthcare is significantly more affordable than the West, unexpected visits or accidents can still be quite expensive. I personally use Genki, and no, this is not sponsored, but I pay around $50 a month, and it protects me here in Thailand and anytime I go travel abroad. If you're interested in checking them out, I have an affiliate link down in the description, but you don't have to use it, and there are also a lot of different other options as well. Now that you know all of this, it's time to book your flight to Thailand. Bangkok Suvarnabhumi Airport and Don Muang Airport are going to handle most international flights, but if you're flying to the other regions such as Phuket, you can also book a direct flight there. Now, if you're booking a one-way ticket, some immigration officers might actually ask you for your return flight information. If you want to be prepared, you can use a service like Onward Ticket, which basically allows you to buy a legitimate return ticket just for immigration purposes. That way they can see that you're actually going to leave Thailand. However, this is not an actual ticket that you're going to be flying out on. It's just for documentation purposes, and it's perfectly legal and it's perfectly legitimate as well. It's around like $16, I believe. I use it whenever I travel and they ask me for my return ticket. I'll just buy it quickly online, or you can actually buy another return flight ticket and have it be refundable and then just refund it after you land in the country. You should also consider Thailand's seasonalities. Now, Thailand has a very heavy pollution season during January to March, and the rain gets very bad between September and October. But in all honesty, my mindset is that the perfect time to visit Thailand is any time, because if you're going to be staying here long term, then it really doesn't matter when you come anyway. Now let's discuss accommodation. Now, you've probably seen all over on social media, as I've previously mentioned, all these luxurious condos that you can get for around $500 to $1,000. Now that is actually true, but you have to pay a 2-month security deposit and rent, of course, on day one. So that's 3 months on day one immediately. Rather than immediately landing in Thailand and signing a 12-month condo, what I would actually recommend is using a platform like Airbnb or booking hotels or other short-term stay platforms. The reason for this is because a lot of people actually regret booking their condo 12-month, maybe 3 or 4 months later down the road, because they realize it's too small, or because it's in a terrible neighborhood, or it's too far from where they hang out at, etc. So what I would actually do is, when you first come to Thailand, is stay at many different neighborhoods in different regions potentially, and try to see where you like, and then once you're confident, then I would book that 12-month condo. If you're looking for a housing agent, then you can check my link in the description to connect with my agent. Now, I know I'm referring you to my links in the description a lot in this video, but I definitely have a lot of resources that I've accumulated over the years to help you guys out. And also, here's an exclusive tip. You can look on Facebook Marketplace and look at these Facebook groups and just search up the terms Bangkok rentals or Phuket rentals or anywhere. You can find some incredible deals, also short-term as well, which is going to save you a lot of money compared to using Airbnb and their hefty fees. But just be careful of scams out there. My first time here in Thailand, I actually got scammed by a short-term rental on Facebook. So what I would recommend is actually tour the property and sign a physical contract, and make sure you have the owner or the agent's passport as well as your passport, and sign the paperwork in person. Now let's briefly discuss transportation. Now, Thailand offers a ton of different transportation options, making it very, very easy to travel within cities or across the country. Starting off, as you probably already know, we have the most convenient method, which is taxi motorbikes. You can book these motorbikes and cars and other vehicles on apps like Grab, Bolt, and InDrive. And bonus tip, Bolt and InDrive are going to be much more cheaper than Grab. You can also wave down the green or yellow or orange cars you see on the streets of Thailand and hail a taxi and pay a pretty reasonable price, as long as you're paying by the meter. So whenever you go into these random taxis, I would always ask them if they have a meter. So you can say something like meter my cup, or if you're a woman, meter my ka. You can say that, and then they'll tell you if they're using a meter or not. If they're not using a meter, just know that you're going to be paying way above the average market rate. Now in Bangkok, one of the most affordable options is using the trains here, the BTS and the MRT. They're super efficient, super clean, very on time, and they pretty much take you anywhere in Bangkok. Now, if you're planning a trip across regions, you can either book a direct flight there or book a bus on a platform like 12.go. For example, a trip from Bangkok to Pattaya is as cheap as like $5-7. And while you're in these different regions, it's actually a pretty good idea to rent your own motorbike. Now for Bangkok, it's very, very risky to actually drive a motorbike here. I think the streets and the traffic is pretty crazy, but in somewhere up north like Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, it's pretty calm. The streets are pretty calm, traffic's not too crazy, so I would definitely recommend booking a motorbike there, as the transportation systems and options are not going to be widely available. Now, if you've made it here until this point of this video, here are some bonus tips. First, I would recommend you download all of these apps right here. Also, for your first time coming here, I definitely recommend bringing as much cash as possible. For example, if you're from the United States, bring up to 50,000 Thai baht worth of USD into Thailand. That way you can easily convert this money at a local currency exchange. This is going to be a lot more cost effective than using your debit card, and I'd make sure to bring less than 50,000 Thai baht to avoid custom fees. Now for debit and credit cards, just know that most of Thailand does not accept Amex, and make sure to have a travel friendly card, that way you don't get charged international transaction fees. My last tip is that there is going to be a bit of a language barrier here, so I'd strongly recommend learning some Thai, and there are also many free language exchange meetups, so I think these are a great opportunity to actually connect with locals and perhaps make some friends as well. So that is just about everything you need to know about moving here to Thailand. If you're interested in remote work, like I said, then check out the link in the description and follow me on Instagram. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.